Okay, quiet on the set. Live in 5, 4. North Idaho College proudly presents NIC Today, an informational news magazine that highlights the people, programs, and campus life at North Idaho College and the surrounding community. And now, your host and moderator, President of North Idaho College, Dr. Joe Dunlap.
Well, hello everyone again, and welcome to North Idaho College Today. This is the program that gives you an in-depth view of the programs and the people that make up North Idaho College. Today we have a couple very special guests with us that represent our community, and part of community college's role is to represent constituents and be responsive to the community with which it serves. And so today we have with us Steve Wilson, the CEO and President of Coeur d'Alene Chamber of Commerce. And we also have with us today Pam Hauser, who is CEO and President of the Post Falls Chamber of Commerce. So Steve and Pam, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for having us.
And in addition, as usual, we have Mark Browning, our Vice President for Community and Governmental Relations and Marketing. So Mark, thanks for being here today.
Always a pleasure, Joe.
Well, let's start with you, Steve, and tell us a little bit about the Coeur d'Alene Chamber of Commerce, what it does, how it's structured, how it's funded, what the priorities are, and just kind of in general what that means to the community.
Terrific. Well, the Coeur d'Alene Chamber of Commerce is 1,100 members strong. We represent the business interests of the community. We are structured with a board of directors, a governing body of a board of directors of 23, but the work gets done primarily in the 9 committees that we have, from membership development to business development, public policy, education committee, a number of committees that take a look at the needs of the members that we have and develop initiatives and work plans that are centered around that. Coeur d'Alene Chamber is somewhat unique in that membership dues are a small component of our overall budget. We've been able to put partnerships in place that allow us the opportunity to work within the Downtown Core Business Downtown Association, for example, on a contractual basis that is not driven, the revenues are not generated from the dues, but still opportunities to operate some effective programming that allows the retailers in that core district to thrive. We have a great relationship with the Centennial Trail Foundation, allowing us the opportunity to be involved in a number of initiatives relative to outdoor recreation and some of those activities. So that's a real quick summary of some of the key things that we're involved with.
Well, very good. And Pam, can you tell us a little bit about the Post Falls Chamber? I know the Post Falls Chamber was started in 1964 and has been going strong ever since.
Yes, we have. And we do very similar work that the Coeur d'Alene Chamber does. Chambers are structured similarly. We also have a board of directors of 21, and we have several committees that work on our behalf when it comes to business education, governmental affairs, local issues, leadership, membership, those kind of things. We have a membership of about 450, and we also have a structure of membership dues, but we, like Coeur d'Alene as well, it really makes up a small percentage of our overall budget, and that comes out of partnerships that we have in the community with other organizations, and including fundraising that we do for ourselves. And like Coeur d'Alene, we also are a grantee of the state and are awarded dollars to promote tourism in our area and work with the various businesses to do that. And then we're proud of the fact that we partner with the other chambers, including Coeur d'Alene, Rathdrum, and Hayden chambers, and we even reach across our borders and sometimes partner with Spokane chambers if it's regional issues that need to go even to a federal level. And so we do quite a bit of work, and basically I think what all of our chambers, our mission is to really provide opportunities for our business community to make connections in the community that help the health and welfare of the overall community, the business community as well as just our citizens.
Well, thanks, Pam. Steve, can you talk a little bit about the relationship between North Idaho College and the Chamber here in Coeur d'Alene? North Idaho College is about ready to celebrate its 80th birthday next year, and we've been around for a little while, and so there must be some history there.
Well, I think North Idaho College was an initiative of the Chamber of Commerce some 80-some years ago. Key business leaders within the community got together and helped establish North Idaho College. You've been an awesome partner for an entire time. As a community college, I think you summarized it fairly well in your opening. As a community college, it's critically important to us that we have access to an education system that is responsive to business needs. And I think that's been the strength of our relationship in the past, is that right here we're able to affect things such as in the workforce development area, for example. Right now, one of our key initiatives is Complete College Idaho. As you know, there's a distinct gap between the skill set that's going to be necessary for employers in the year 2020 and the production of those skills by a lot of higher institutions and programs that are available for certificates. Your institution has been crucial in adapting to change and developing PTE programs and healthcare initiatives that'll allow the workforce to be skilled and trained. And it's been a great partnership.
Great. Now, Steve, you mentioned Complete College Idaho, and Mark, I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about what that means to the state of Idaho.
It is a huge initiative of the state. Essentially what you're looking at is currently about 34% of the population in Idaho has some sort of a degree, or a certificate of completion. So a professional technical completion certificate, associate, bachelor's, or some sort of a master's or doctorate. The Lumina Foundation did some work a couple of years ago that said employers, based on where they are going, project that the jobs that will be available to Idaho citizens in the year 2018, there'll be 63% of those will need some sort of after high school training. That really was the genesis for Complete College Idaho, that set the goal that said, okay, by 2020 we got to get at least 60%. We have to essentially double the amount of folks that we have post-secondary, and I think it's important that we make that delineation between college and post-secondary, because when you say college, a lot of folks think, well, I'm going to roll off somewhere, I'm going to get a 4-year liberal arts psychology degree or some sort of a liberal arts degree. College is anything beyond high school. So that might be in an accelerated computer training program, it might be welding, it might be machining, it might be a nursing program that takes less than 2 years or 4 years. And those skills in particular are where a lot of these jobs, or at least the projections of those, lie. So Complete College Idaho is Idaho's representation of part of a national effort. I think there's 48 states, and I want to say two others, Puerto Rico and one other, that have signed on now and have said, we're in. We're working on Common Core standards for transferability. So as our society gets even more and more mobile, we're able to transfer credits not only intrastate but interstate, and work to get our workforce such to a point where we can be competitive globally, because that's really where we've had some struggles.
Well, thanks, Mark. And to be competitive, not only regionally but globally, I know the Chambers of Commerce promote positive business environments, and that you advocate for your members and try and help stimulate economic activity within a community. So Pam, can you talk a little bit about that, and then also talk to us a little bit about what kind of challenges you face with the Chamber doing its work in this region?
Okay, yeah. Well, I think that one thing that the Post Falls Chamber has been instrumental in is, PTE programs. And many of our board members, such as Ron Nilsson, Eve Knudsen, who were instrumental in looking at K-Tech and then partnering with NIC to expand on those programs, like you mentioned, is crucial to the success of our community. And of course, something we're real proud of is that we have the Workforce Training Center out in Post Falls, and we advocate for that all the time, and are hooking up our business people with the Small Business Development Center out there, and Bill Jung and his staff, and the great programs that are out there in Post Falls as well as on the campus here. And those are the challenges that we are hearing in the chamber is training beyond high school. You know, and it might just be a 9-month certificate, it might be a 2-year certificate, but it's not just about college and liberal arts, it's really about career choices and knowing what the career choices are locally, and who's employing who, and what skill set do you need to get that job. But I think we do a great job of that as a community. The chambers, the business community, and NIC has always played an instrumental part and partnered with us to bring those programs forward.
Good, thanks.
How much of a challenge is it for both of you to get folks outside the area, potential businesses, to understand, you know, for so many years when you said North Idaho, you thought mining, you thought some ag, and lumber. Our economy's changed. We still have those base fundamental industries here, but they are greatly reduced from what they were. And tourism now is so large, and manufacturing's come, and we have kind of a brain economy that's coming up. How challenging is that for you folks as leaders of your chambers to get folks to understand that we really have a very diverse economy up here?
You know, I think Pam touched on it briefly, and that is this whole area of brand development, particularly in the area of tourism. What it has done over the last 15 years or so, that the Idaho Travel Council has been significantly funding promotional efforts. You know, between the two of us, we operate advertising promotional programs in the neighborhood of $700,000 to $800,000. And that's a significant investment in the marketplace to really put the pretty face on this area. And when you do that, it has brought an awful lot of folks here who have had their eyes opened. And you know, no longer is North Idaho a mining area or a lumber industry. Very important industries, but there's more to that. And over the last 15 years, I think that has changed significantly. And the opportunity for us to do that is quite honestly in those large sums of money that we've been able to be awarded through the state's tourism program. So once you're able to put the pretty face on Coeur d'Alene area, Post Falls, and then I think folks dig a little deeper and they find that the wellness of this community is really very solid. This is a community, as you know, that is committed to itself, committed to development, committed to sharing, caring, and that goes a long way. You know, we don't have incentives to bring businesses in here. We're not like Texas. We don't have a lot of money that we throw around to invite folks here. So it takes searching for those right organizations, and we do that with a partnership with Jobs Plus. Steve Griffiths does an awesome job in his board, and luckily Pam and I get an opportunity to support him best we can, and their responsibility is to go out and scratch the surface and find those great companies that make a perfect fit.
Well, one last question before we go to a break. And Stephen, you and I talked about this a while back, and I think there's some confusion. Can you describe to our viewers the difference between the U.S. Chamber and the local Chamber of Commerce?
The local Chamber of Commerce, in both our instances, represent members of the local community. We are a membership organization. We do not, as a chamber, even belong to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
Is that right?
That's correct. There is not a mothership, so to speak. And, you know, they have taken some positions, quite honestly, in the past that have been somewhat controversial, as you and I have discussed. So we are beholden to our 1,100 members and to no one else.
Well, thanks, Steve.
Steve, you've had a couple of NIC students that are working on your staff currently.
Yes.
And speaking of our students, the students have developed a piece for the Coeur d'Alene Chamber of Commerce that was designed specifically to do, as Steve mentioned, help folks to understand not only the draw but the beauty of the area. The piece is entitled Visit Coeur d'Alene from the NIC students. Appreciate Philippe Val and his students at the graphic design program out at the Workforce Training Center in Post Falls. And Pam, that's probably a good spot to come back and touch base with you. Some of the events that the Post Falls Chamber does throughout the year that help build membership and then also engage those members in some of your key initiatives. What are some of the big events that you guys have throughout the year?
Well, speaking of events, we have several. We have an annual dinner auction. That's one of our largest fundraisers and brings people together. A couple hundred people come out for that. We have our annual recognition banquet. That's coming up at the end of January, where we honor our Citizen of the Year, Volunteer and Businesses of the Year, and recognize local folks for outstanding service above and beyond. We hold an annual golf tournament for a fundraiser. One of the programs that we're really proud of is our River City Leadership Program, and it's pretty new. Leadership programs are not new to chambers. They are very common around the world, actually, not just in the United States. But we are 5 years into our leadership program, and we found as a growing community we needed to engage our own leaders in our own community and really teach them about Post Falls and, of course, then the surrounding community of Kootenai County. And we are proud to have had NIC leaders and staff involved in that program since it's started. One thing that we do a little bit differently there is we take our educators, our local educators at our high school level, and take them with us on our Discovery Days. So each month, a local high school teacher or counselor is invited and sponsored by one of our businesses to attend with the business leaders. So there's 20 business leaders and one educator on each day. And we've had excellent feedback from that. It allows the educators to connect with our business community, get them out there. We just had Healthcare Day last week, and it's amazing. Every single time the educator or the teacher says, I had no idea these services existed in our community. When it's Manufacturing Day, we hear the same thing. When it's, Economic Development Day, every Discovery Day we have, they're really surprised that we have these kind of services available and these career opportunities, which is so valuable to let these counselors and teachers know so they can go back to their classroom and say, we have excellent careers in our community. This is the education you need to work in such a place and stay close to home and feed your family. And that's really what it's all about. So that's a program that we're really proud of. And Coeur d'Alene has an excellent leadership program as well. But this is a great thing to have in our community. And we're always trying to find ways to connect industry and educators because that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, the more we learn about each other and each of our worlds, the better connected we come. I know that's been the takeaway that I've had. I've had the opportunity to be in the Coeur d'Alene Chamber leadership, and really the brains of our operation in our department, Stacy Hudson, she's in the River City leadership, and so we come back and compare notes. And it's certainly made those operations and on our end a lot easier. So Steve, you have a similar program with leadership, but you have some major events throughout the year, and not the least of which is the Awesome Auction.
Awesome Auction is coming up. That is one of our major fundraisers. Also a fun activity, February 9th.
That's right, early this year.
It is early this year. It's been normally held in April, but it's going to be held in February this year. We have a number of networking opportunity events. Probably our most popular is our Upbeat Breakfast program that operates on the second Tuesday of each month, early in the morning at the Coeur d'Alene Resort. An opportunity to network, and between 150 and 200 folks get together and have a little uplifting program as well. A lot of things that Chamber of Commerce that is involved with, and maybe a lot of folks don't know. Ironman, for example. Ironman is in Coeur d'Alene because of the Chamber of Commerce. We actually underwrite that program. We are the main sponsor of that program in cooperation with Kootenai Health and the city. The three entities that bring Ironman in June to Coeur d'Alene. The 4th of July is the fireworks and the festivities in the park and the parade. That's all brought to you by the Chamber of Commerce. We do seek sponsors, but that is one of our events, as well as the Coeur d'Alene Triathlon. So a lot of programs similar to Post Falls, but then some of these major events that a lot of folks maybe don't know that are chamber events, and we're very proud of the fact that we're able to bring notoriety and attention to Coeur d'Alene. And our thought process behind some of these is that you bring folks into the community and stimulate the economy, but also they'll come back when they're on their family vacations or when they're looking for business expansion.
Yeah. Well, Pam, I know Post Falls is just putting the finishing touches on a strategic plan, and I'm sure the Chamber must have been heavily involved with that. And so can you describe a little bit about maybe the process and some of the initiatives that are emerging from that post-fall strategic planning process.
Yes, well, I did have the privilege of sitting on that committee with about 20 others, as did Jobs Plus and various other entities, but I was there representing the business community. And we did a public survey and really just trying to gather information on what the citizens want to see Post Falls take as an initiative. And what's come out of that are several priorities, of course, and this is a 5-year plan. So it'll take the city a little while to get through all of it. And the chamber will play a particular role in the business end of that. And so out of maybe 15 initiatives, you might see the chamber in 3 major roles, on the leadership. Downtown is key. People are looking to really see the development of a downtown, and we hope to be able to provide that and work toward that. One of the most important things, of course, for Post Falls, like it is for all of Kootenai County, is job creation. And so, of course, we're looking to that. How do we fit into that? And what role will the chamber play in that? Department of Labor sat on the committee as well. But I think you'll see some really good things coming out, and you'll see them immediate. And prior to our different things, we have a city council meeting tomorrow night, and I think that you'll see a couple things come out of just that council meeting right away.
Pam, how active, I know on the Coeur d'Alene side through the Public Policy Committee has been very, very active in offering input on the master use plan, the land use plan in Kootenai County. How active has the Post Falls Chamber been in that, in determining where growth is going to go in the county and where industry will go, where we're going to have future housing and residential? How active have you been in that?
Well, we just developed a local issues committee. Is only 2 years old in our chamber, and so now you're seeing it become very active. We've always had a governmental affairs committee, but that really dealt more with state issues at the state level. So now you're seeing a committee of 12 to 15 people actively attend each month, and the city is always there. And so you're going to see the chamber influence that quite a bit. What the downtown looks like, what the economic development looks like, and really working together. So we're really looking forward to having that input for the first time.
Well, over the past 4 or 5 years, we've had a continuous decline in our economic situation, and we've gone through a recession, and that's got to be one of the single most important issues facing the businesses that you represent. And so, Steve, what kind of feedback are you getting from your businesses? Are they seeing an improvement in the economy? Things continue to go down, or has it just stagnated? Can you give us a sense of the business climate here in Coeur d'Alene?
I think if you need to look at it in a couple of different segments. I think the service retail segment of our economies are cautiously optimistic, although things are fairly stagnant in that area. The housing industry has been very stagnant, and that has a huge effect on the economy here. There is a bright spot out there, though, and that's manufacturing. And aerospace consortium that's out there, there's a number of manufacturers. Esterline, for example, is continuing to look for $17 an hour jobs. They can't fill them fast enough. These are some technical skills in the area of soldering, but many of our manufacturers are expanding. So from segment to segment, it's a little different. The tourism segment this last year was very solid. We're not back to the 2007 levels, but we're darn close. So there are a number of segments that show some very solid promise, and then there's some that are somewhat stagnant.
Well, thanks, Steve. And the both of you have been businessmen and women in your communities and have been successful, and so you bring a lot of experience to the table as presidents and CEOs of the chamber. So, Pam, why don't we start with you and just tell us briefly about your background as a businesswoman, and then Steve, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yours.
Well, my business background, I spent 10 years in interior decorating, and then I opened a small business in Post Falls, awards, etc., with a business partner, and I ran that for 10 years. And that was my experience where I got very involved in the Chamber of Commerce. I served on the board of directors and ended up serving as the chairman of the board, and then was asked at that time to come on board as the the CEO and president of the chamber. So I gave up my business to my partner, but it's been a very good decision, and I do bring a lot of experience with retail, customer service, marketing is really my background, and having then served as a board member, I think it gives me a unique perspective then to run the chamber and the staff there.
Sure.
In my background, the last 27 years is in the hospitality industry. I had the pleasure of working for Hagedorn Hospitality Company, a significant management role. I managed the Coeur d'Alene Resort as Director of Sales and Marketing for the resort as it opened. I was General Manager at the Best Western Coeur d'Alene Inn. So certainly having that private sector experience has meant a lot to my growth and development. And I, like Pam, chaired the Chamber of Commerce and worked through all its committees over the 27 years before I was asked to step into the same role. So I think having that connection with your members is very meaningful. We both understand where they're coming from, their perspective. We've both had to meet payroll and sales pressures. And
huge, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, Steve and Pam, thank you so much for being here today. And so we've had Steve Wilson, President and CEO of Coeur d'Alene Chamber, Pam Hauser, President and CEO of the Post Falls Chamber, and of course we've had Mark Browning, our Vice President for Marketing and Governmental Affairs here at North Idaho College. That's all the time we have today, and I want to thank all of you for joining us. And just a reminder, we do appreciate you tuning in, and it's on Channel 19, which is the public access channel here in Coeur d'Alene. And we hope you'll join us next time for an in-depth look at the North Idaho College and the folks who make that happen. Any last words, Mark?
We'll take a look at the legislature coming up as they will have convened in Boise at that time, and we'll get an in-depth look at what's ahead.
Perfect. Thank you very much.